It's an exciting day on the Extreme channel. We're getting a twofer. That's right, two statues at the same time. That's what you do if you have $1 million. Some of you got that reference. If you didn't, you're missing out on one of the greatest movies of all time. But today we're doing a weird review. It's kind of a different video. We're going to review some statues. There's some specific reasons why. So let's dive into these XM Studios 1/4 scale busts of Hulk and Venom. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we're giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey guys, welcome to the Extreme channel. Today we're taking a look at these two 1/4 scale busts. That's right, traditionally when you have a bust, it's usually life-size. Now I do own a life-size Venom bust. This one by Sideshow Collectibles. This is only 1/4 scale, so this is 4 times smaller than that. The same thing can be said about this Hulk piece. These are both made by XM Studios, and they're some of their early on pieces, and they are fantastic pieces at that. So the reason we're reviewing them today is I am actually selling off a whole bunch of my collection. Are these going to be on the sale? I can tell you right now, Venom will not be. However, at the end of this month, unless you're watching this from the future, Hulk may be on there because I'm selling most of my Hulk pieces. Recently, I did a countdown of the best Hulk statues. You can actually check it out right here. But in case I do sell it, which I'm still undecided, I wanted to do a review. Now, since it's such a small piece and there's not a lot going on, even though it's fantastic, I thought I would also include their Venom, because they did a Marvel line of 1/4 scale busts. Now, these are the only two that I own because Hulk and Venom were some of my favorite characters growing up, and also as an adult. I even have a Hulk vs. Venom statue you can check out right here. And even better, I have a Venomized Hulk right here. But we're going to review this in the traditional way, using the normal categories. We're going to rank each one separately, although I have a feeling they're going to get the same scores because they're both very well done. Let's just kick it off looking at both of these awesome pieces. Now, first thing we're going to talk about is concept. Because these are busts, they don't show the full figure. They only show part of the torso and the portrait. Now with both of them, they have a rock-like base. You can see on the Venom piece, it actually has the symbiote oozing everywhere. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And the Hulk, the rock, has actually been carved, the traditional Hulk logo in the front, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Then you pick up mid-torso on both of them, and as you move up, you see how muscular they are. You see them kind of hunched over, so it makes them a little hard to display. We'll talk about in design. Fantastic portraits on both done by fabulous sculptors. With Venom, you see more of the tendrils kind of going everywhere. The Venom actually kind of reminds me of the recently revealed Queen Studios life-size bust. But they're both fantastic little pieces. So I love the concepts of both. Now, they're a little bit different. Now, in the Hulk piece, I love the base, and I love how they incorporated that logo. But I'm not a fan of him missing his arms. To me, that's just not Hulk. However, to me, the Venom is more applicable because to me, I think this is just the suit, so it doesn't have a human form inside of it. This is what it would look like rising off of it. So for me, this is almost like a full character. Give the concept of the Hulk a 4 out of 5 for what it is. Normally, I would probably judge it a little bit lower, but I think the Venom is actually a 5 out of 5 on the concept. Now, when it comes to design, I'm not going to do the unboxing or assembly or anything. One reason is the Hulk is just one piece. What you see is what you get. Venom, about 7 or 8 of the tendrils actually attach via magnet. They aren't color-coded. There is a little bit of seam line. For the most part, it's done pretty well. Now, the nice thing is they don't take up too much room. So the Hulk, the highest part of him, is only 11.5 inches, and the widest part, which is probably his shoulders, 10 inches, and he's only a few inches deep. Venom's a little bit taller with this tendril over here, about 15.5 inches. The widest point of Venom is about 16, but you can angle how he's displayed so you can fit him in different spaces. Sometimes when you want to fit it in, you got to angle it just right.
That's what she said.
And I suppose if you wanted to, you could remove some of these tendrils. Now, it'll show this nasty key, colored key back here, but if you can't see the back of it, then it would be okay. Now, this is fantastic for the simple reason some people have either a budget or a lack of space to display statues. So I think these are fantastic options for that. So really design, not a lot going on, but I don't think there needs to be. I think the one disadvantage is they're both looking down, which means you have to display them pretty much at eye level or higher to enjoy them. So I think that's a little bit of a knock. But for a 1/4 scale bust, I give it a 4 out of 5 on the design. Now with these, the paint and sculpt I think is done awesome. It still holds up today, even though these pieces are at least 6 or 7 years old. I've owned them probably for about 4 or 5 years. But let's take a look at both. Suppose we'll dive into Hulk first because he's actually not more simple, but as we talked about, I love this design. The smashed rocks that actually have the Hulk logo, I think that's so ingeniously done. I like the color on it too. They didn't use too many different shades, but you do see some browns and grays in there. Now, Troy Mcdevitt is the guy who sculpted this, who sculpted one of my favorite Hulks, this Red Hulk that I have. I like the transition from the rocky part to the actual logo, and then his signature's indented on there, pretty cool. Hulk, they did a nice job. He's not over-muscularized for a Hulk. The veins, they could have done a little bit more coloring with the veins, but I still think it's done really well. I like this green a lot on Hulk, and I think his physique is just fantastic. And I love this portrait. I wish the eyes were a little bit more open, but I love those teeth. I love that evil Hulk rage. I think the hair's done great. Almost a little bit of highlights and green in the hair, but look at those strands. Very impressive from top to bottom on this piece. I would love it if it was a life-size bust. I would buy it in a second, even though that doesn't fit my collection. So on Venom, you have the base. It's kind of a rock pedestal. A lot of similar comments about the colors. It's not as cracked up, which is fine. I like the oozing symbiote everywhere, how it's falling into these pools, pretty cool. And then as you move up, the symbiote's trying to come together with the tendrils coming out. That's just fantastically done. The spider symbol is really protruding on this one, really, and even so where it's almost like falling off. So again, reminds me of kind of T-1000 trying to repair himself. You see some blue veins in there. And on the back, there is some dirtying of the logo, which you typically see on Venom, kind of that brown color of the logo on back. Very elongated body on him. Here's this tendril coming off way to the side. And I think, you know, for display purposes, that's kind of annoying, but I like it a lot. Portrait is fantastic. First, the eyes, they have those real creature-esque eyes that are very long and elongated. There's a little bit of blue highlight in there, but not as much as you typically see in a Venom statue. They really went yellow on the teeth, which I'm okay with. I would have preferred a little bit wider, but I think it contrasts well with the actual logo. But the inside of the mouth, the tendrils in the mouth, the tongue, the glistening effect they added. Just a great expression right there. So both of them are really impressive paint and sculpt wise. I'm actually kneeling down to review these because of the design issues we talked about, but great job to XM Studios, especially for some older pieces. Now this is where I said they'd probably grade the same. I love the sculpt on both of these. I think it's fantastically done. I think the sculpt's a 5 out of 5 on both. It actually surprised me. We're going to talk a little bit about value, that one of them doesn't go for as much money as it should. I like the paint a lot too. Like we talked about, I love the color they chose for Hulk. Venom looks fantastic. I'm going to give the paint, I have to give the paint a 5 out of 5 as well, actually. It's probably a weaker 5 out of 5, but it could be a strong 4 out of 5. When we jump into value on older pieces, I don't like to give it a score, and I'm not going to, but we'll talk about it a little bit. So Venom retailed for 350 Singapore dollars, which is about 270 US. Hulk was 250, which is about 190 US. And I believe they made 200 of the Hulk and 250 of the Venom. So it's a pretty rare piece. Nowadays, you see the Hulk go for $300, $400, $500. You see the Venom go for $600 to $1,500. Honestly, probably for some of the reasons I hinted at, that the Hulk is just kind of weird because he doesn't have arms and he's not a full life-size display, where the Venom can fit a little bit better in a collection than the Hulk can. Doesn't discount how fantastic the Hulk is, it's just different. Now, do these have the X factor? You know, they do say size does matter, and I think it does. I don't think these have the X factor because they're so small, but these are amazing statues, both of them. Overall, 4 out of 5 for me in the book. Originally, I was 100% sure I was giving up this Hulk right here because of some of the factors we talked about, but man, it's done so well, I really want to keep it. So make sure you've not only liked this video, but you've subscribed to the channel and hit that bell notification to see if I'm going to sell it and what other Hulks I'm selling here in a few days. But for now, go ahead and comment below. If you had to choose one, which one would you choose and why? And the reason I asked you to comment is because of this. We will be giving all of these statues away plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Again, thanks so much, guys. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see the Hulks or other statues that are going for sales. I'm selling off about half my collection. Also, please drop me a like on the way out. It really helps the video. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.